Hunter Schafer's new neon horror movie, Cuckoo, leaves audiences with plenty of unanswered questions. Schafer stars as Gretchen, a young woman from the United States who goes to the German Alps with her father, stepmother, and stepsister after her mother passes away. In the resort town she's staying at, Gretchen discovers dark and mysterious happenings involving her father's boss, her Koenig, Dan Stevens. It's revealed in the Cuckoo ending that he's involved in preserving the lives of deadly, unnamed creatures and is using local humans to breed more of them. The movie's ending sees Gretchen escape a deadly situation with her stepsister Alma, Mila Liu, leaving Koenig, the ex-detective Henry, Jan Bouchard, and the hooded woman, Kaylin Morrow, dead behind them. Despite the climactic finish, the movie leaves many questions about the lore of its world unanswered. While the vital through-line is the relationship between Gretchen and Alma, director Tilman Singer creates an interesting world that's worth discussing beyond just what's revealed in the film. Perhaps the biggest question mark following Cuckoo is the general lack of information regarding what the creatures actually are. They breed with normal humans, and they even look like normal humans at first glance. It's not until the hooded woman removes her sunglasses that her frightening eyes and features are revealed, differentiating her visually. Not to mention, the creatures have powers that seem to be cuckoo bird-themed, bolstering the film's central metaphor that Koenig is fascinated by. The creatures are capable of sending out sonic screeches, disorienting their human targets. This is countered at the end by Gretchen and Alma plugging their ears to avoid being stunned. So, questioning their species is important. They're described as being ancient and dying out, which is part of why Koenig wants to preserve them. Given the hooded woman's eyes, they could be some sort of demonic creature, but this was intentionally left as an obscurity. They could also be an ancient crossbreed between humans and birds. The film reveals a decent amount about Koenig's motives, and much of it appears to be that he desires to preserve these creatures. To Koenig's credit, he does seem generally fascinated by them, but his character is presented to be so villainous that it feels unlikely to suggest that he's just conducting a little experiment. Koenig isn't just preserving a species of harmless frogs or something of the sort, he's preserving terrifying, murderous creatures and killing people in the process. It's possible that Koenig wants to weaponize the creatures or learn how to control them. It's typically the case with the preserving a species scientist archetype villain characters that they see themselves as some sort of godlike figure, with the creatures as their underlings. Therefore, he could be having them reproduce with the intention of building up a more dangerous force for some purpose, but it's entirely unclear. It doesn't seem like he'd be able to use them effectively anywhere but in a remote location like the Alps. Koenig has been working with these creatures for some time, but the length of his operation raises even more questions. He planned for Alma to become one of the creatures, and she could be roughly 10 years old. If Koenig has been operating for over a decade, it raises questions about how he's been able to conduct business in this region while having murderous creatures running rampant in the area. He has cops working for him, but these can't be the only police officers who would have caught wind of this. Not to mention, if Koenig has been working on this for decades, it's likely that many more women have been impregnated and are involved in this. The movie shows that there are more creatures, including Alma, but they're just left out in the world now without anyone attempting to control them. Koenig and the other scientists involved are all dead, so the remaining creatures are an enormous threat to this area left entirely unchecked. There's also the unexplained vomiting, which would have likely raised some alarms about the happenings at the resort.